what you mean? Am I on this side?
Yeah.
I'm on the other side of my.
So
yeah.
Dr. Gates,
Boom,
Dr.
boom.
Nash, Dr. Leilani coming at you, a bunch of good fighters, and our special guest
the best
today.
chiropractic dynamic duo of the century right here.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's a title to live up to.
Three-legged stool, man.
Always
Come back around to 3 legs. Somewhere.
I guess you didn't catch our last one though. That
No.
would have made more sense.
We're usually dropping some 3-legged jokes or So we always just like joke around and say it's people get their mind out of the gutter with the 3 legs, that third leg.
Get your mind out the gutter.
Oh my gosh.
And it just clicked with Leilani. She was like, oh, that's what you mean. Anyways.
Like most PC, but we like to have fun.
Hey, good fighters like to have fun, most importantly. And today, we got some fire for y'all. Dr. Leilani in the house. Zinsli. I just want to say, too, I'm pretty sure I still have your name in my phone wrong. I think I spelled it wrong from, like, day one. So
No worries.
I noticed that the other day. I was like, I don't think that's right.
Okay. I feel like, even when I go to Starbucks and they're like, what's your name? And I'm like, Leilani. And they're like, can you spell that? It's always wrong. Like on the cup.
Oh, I always just say, just put G on the cup. I don't even let them go through that.
Really? Sometimes, what name was I always using? I feel like I was using like Ashley. People would be like, what's your name? I'm like, Ashley.
Just some random name.
But yeah, it's like super easy, and then no offense to any Ashleys.
What name am I going to use today at Starbucks? That's the biggest key.
Yeah.
I always just say G, but Chantel always gets mad at me. She's like, just tell them your real name. I'm like, they never get it right. They always call me Jake or Dates, which is interesting. I've never heard. Yeah, like DATES.
Like from
food?
Yeah. Yeah, like a
food.
date, like a food. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. But
like Big Newtons.
fig Newtons are made of dates?
I'm pretty sure.
No, they're figs.
Oh wait, no, they're figs. But duh. Scratch that. Start over. New episode. Wow.
Anyways, y'all,
I have to agree, I swear.
2 of them, right?
Yeah, I think.
Oh my gosh. Well, Dr. Leilani has a pretty unique history as far as being able to go to chiropractic school and be a part of the, I'm going to say it, national championship team, Palmer College women's rugby.
I don't know if we can claim that title.
Dude, we're claiming it. Screw COVID. You guys claim it all day.
You guys went to the Natty.
Oh god.
The Natty,
You
you
guys were
won.
undefeated.
We were undefeated.
Hey,
Undefeated.
man.
First time
There's
in
only
Palmer history. Woo.
only really one team ever finished the year undefeated, in my opinion.
Facts.
Or, yeah, in a way. But
In a way. Well, we have one of the team members here with us today, and this is also Dr. Nash's co-owner,
this is
chief
Brendan.
executive officer.
I work for her.
Yes. Nash's boss,
Yes.
Dr. Lay.
I wear a lot of
Huh?
said I wear a lot of hats. in the
Wear a
office.
lot of hats. She does. Why don't you dive into just like a quick intro of who you are, what you're about, why you decided to partner up with this goon right here, and all that good stuff.
Can I say he trapped me?
Definitely. I mean, anything goes. Good fighters,
So let's see. We all went to school together. We were in the same class, basically. Dr. Gates, Dr. Nash, and I.
That's true
Dr.
too.
Gates and I were actually probably, I don't know, we kind of like hit it off from the start. So I think I met you in the student clinic, like during our first exam, or like, when we went in.
Yeah.
Adjusted for the first time. And I remember you like walking out, and I thought you were like an upper class, like an older.
Not even close.
Well, you just like came up to me and immediately started talking to me, and you were just like, "This your first exam?" And I was like, "Yeah." And you're just like, I don't know where the conversation went after that, but then
I asked you your name, and you said Leilani, and I had just watched this like John Wayne movie, and there was like one of the characters' names was Leilani, and it was like Princess in Hawaiian or something like that. And I was like, did you know that? Like, I don't know why I said it, because it probably seemed like I was like totally hitting on you, but I wasn't meaning to, because it was just like a fun fact. that I was like, I literally just watched like the movie like 2 days beforehand or something like that.
Nice. But yeah, so I thought you were like somebody older, but then we like walked out, like talking, and then we like parted ways, and then the next day in class, I was like, you, I know you. Like, up until that point, I think I was sitting by myself in class. So I was like,
Yep.
I'm sit by this guy because I know who he is. He talked to me. He's friendly. Like,
Literally knew. Yep.
yeah. So that's cool. I don't think I met Dr. Nash until like second
try
maybe.
because he was the one that was always walking in late into palpation.
Yeah.
Or into subluxation analysis in the morning.
Morning classes were not my strong suit.
Dr. Nash was late. How many days of class do you guys think we had in there? 60?
Yeah.
59 out of the 60 days, Dr. Nash was late.
And the thing is, shout out to Dr. Hagen, but he cut me a lot of slack because it literally
did.
Like if you're late,
he's like
his count. Yeah, and
no, he knew. He was like, he would always do the roll call, right? And he'd be like, Dr. Nash, he'll probably show up here in about a couple minutes. He did not care.
Your name is at the end of the alphabet too, so like, you still wouldn't be there by the time they called your name.
Oh yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I lived really close. Like I lived like as close as you can live to campus.
Mm-hmm.
If there were dorms that were a part of campus, I lived in them. So
yeah.
I think we started dating like at the beginning of that try.
It was third try.
Third try, yeah, third try. And like I would literally, it would stress me out of him being late, right? So I would like literally leave the apartment before him and I would just like be ready to go. And he's like just getting up. He is like, I don't know, I think it's his long legs, but he is just a mosier. He just like walks to do his.
I do the somber shuffle.
No, he had his Timbs rolling in, so like he had to drag along with them.
Exactly. But so yeah, I would leave him in the apartment and be like, I'm just gonna leave because I'm stressed out. Like I hate being late, so I'm just gonna leave here. And then he'd be like, just wait a couple minutes. I'm like, no, we're gonna be late.
I gotta go.
It freaks me out. Yeah. So I don't know. But yeah, so
so you guys started dating in third try?
Pretty sure, because it was.
Well, you're like didn't officially start until
today.
After
3 years ago.
Huh?
Today, 3 years ago.
Today, 3 years. Oh, guys! By the way, happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. I like it.
I meant to lead with that, and I totally botched it.
Well, just leave it.
Cut.
Yeah,
this.
Put it in right now. Just say it. Stop talking. Ready to go.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
I just found out about Galentine's Day yesterday. I've never heard that before. Apparently, I'm like living under a rock.
Oh, dude, I thought that was the funniest thing when we were in school, and I saw that. I was like, yo, people are smart. I don't even know how you come up with that. Gold. First time.
I'm following the wrong people.
Apparently.
Okay, I interrupted your intro, but that was great. Continue.
Mine.
Share the story. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh yeah. So like we all met in chiropractic school. I played rugby throughout school from the start until the end. When COVID inconveniently interrupted our national title.
No, you went out in national championship. It's on record.
Okay.
You guys earned it, in my opinion. I watched it.
Honestly, I believe in my heart that we would have won the national championship. So
totally.
I'll just say that we're national champions. So.
I was like designated for that year, and
yeah, you were.
You were, man. You were. You knew.
I was at the games.
Took some good picks. But yeah, so that was kind of a I don't know. I feel like since I having to go to like practices and like having to lift basically like every single day and like games on the weekends and whatnot, kind of like helped prepare me for post grad life. I mean, I definitely am. I feel like I can like juggle a million things at a time.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine games on the weekends and then going to school full time. Like, I don't know how you did that.
The first trimester is really rough. First and second was pretty bad, but after that, it I don't know. I feel like it was worth it too, because even now, like, we have just such a strong network of like past current teammates that like we have a call twice a month, like talk about things.
Oh wow.
There are so many people that were a part of the team prior that, you know, have opened up their business or are like successfully like an associate or, you know, just independent contractors that like they just have such great advice because they've already like gone through it. So
Right.
I don't know, it's a great network
Yeah.
to be part of.
For sure. Camaraderie is key. That's huge. I'm trying to think of Nash. When did we start like kicking it? I can't even remember.
At least second try, because I remember like we were studying for spinal like in
the cafeteria. That's when you adjusted me for the first time.
Yep, in chair, man.
Hold up. That he didn't actually adjust me.
I did.
Palpation.
Oh, I sent it. HVLA, man.
HVLA all day.
Oh, I adjusted him. For anybody listening, get your hands on early. It's
Fact.
That curriculum.
I needed it too. I had a huge headache, and we were trying to study spinal. Hard.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like I was just like it was my first time ever like even touching a spine. Granted, I was you know, still only second try, so it's not like I'm proficient. But like, hey, man.
Hey, it was money to me.
Yeah. Hey.
Took care of the headache.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah.
That's for sure.
That was good memes, bro. What was I gonna say? Lost. Yeah, it'll come back.
Yeah.
Got to distract.
So we got two. You guys dynamic too as business owners and stuff like that. Obviously, Dr. Lay, you're like you said, many hats and different things like that. But you also, you know, I want to talk about too, like your transition from kind of, I don't want to say like sports chiropractic, but like that's what you knew most of the time. But now you're kind of taking more of the kids' pediatric chiropractic care and learning about that. I wonder if you could talk about that a little bit too.
I feel so like in our area, I feel like there isn't a pediatric chiropractor that kind of, like brands themselves that way. So I feel like it'd be beneficial for this area to have somebody like that. And Nash is kind of like sports chiropractic. He's like in with the extremities and whatnot. I feel like it would be just having like a broader scope in our office, you know, just have somebody go down that route. So I love kids, and especially like taking that Webster, like I took the Webster course, and it just like it kind of opened up my eyes to a lot of things because I'm not a mom yet.
Right.
So I mean, we do have like a course, you know, in school with like pediatrics and whatnot, but this course just kind of like dove into a whole new realm.
Way deeper.
Yeah. So.
That was super helpful because with Chantel being pregnant, I was texting you like each week, like, what do I do about this or that, or what do I do for this? Because I had, you know, I didn't go through school like, oh yeah, peds is going to be my specialty, you know? So like super helpful, obviously just you not being a mom, but getting into that course and the knowledge that you learned from that was key.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I remember when you were, you know, in Denver taking the class, one of her teammates and fellow chiropractor that was taking the course, she brought her baby with her to like the seminar, and just like being around that atmosphere sounded like super cool. Just some of the stuff you were telling me she was doing, I'm like, damn, like they were going on hikes and stuff. She was just bringing her baby up there.
It was crazy. I've never seen such like a super mom in my entire freaking life. Like she brought that baby everywhere. That baby, she brought her everywhere. Her name is Parker. She's so cute. But you know, it was crazy because like to me, I feel like society kind of puts this like negative connotation on being like a mom. Like, like, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's society, maybe it's like some chiropractors, I'm not really sure, but in my head, to me, I get a lot of like input of like moms being overstressed, not being able to do what they're doing, having to be stuck at home, like having too many things to do throughout the day and not being able to do what they want. And I feel like she just completely flipped that vision in my head. So
that's awesome. It's really cool to have role models like that too for other women, because I think you're right. Like, we do kind of portray, and it goes for everybody nowadays too, as far as like being overworked and not really getting to do what you want. I know we stressed on that before, and Dr. Nash, just like trying to figure out that balance between, okay, how do you take care of self? And especially as a mom, like, you need to take care of self, but then also your children too. It's hard.
Yeah.
So that's cool that you got to see that, especially when you're there at the seminar too. Like, it's like the best of both worlds then.
What a message.
She was like, I think she, this is probably a little TMI, but there was like a baby crying on the video that they were showing or whatever. She like texted our group chat, and she's like, my nipples are lactating right now because the baby's crying. She was like, our bodies are crazy. She's like, it's not even my baby that's crying, but literally it's happening.
Dude, that's wild.
Somebody get the pump ready.
Yeah. It was crazy.
That is hilarious. Wow. Yeah. The human body. That is not TMI. That's astounding. I love it.
I didn't know.
It's a little TMI for her. I'm not going to disclose her name. So.
That's okay. Now we won't name drop.
Yeah.
One thing that you were saying, though, about, like, you know, her bringing her baby with her everywhere and talking about the connotations in society, I feel like, so babies are like these, they're literally so malleable, and like they're literally so adaptable.
Little bags of jelly.
Yeah, little bags of jelly that are just made to adapt and just like really just absorb. They're just literally sponges. So literally being able to take baby on hikes in nature, just to me, like, screams just positive benefits for baby, right? And obviously you need to do with some safety precautions, and it's good for mom too, but the ultimate thing is, you know, the society really wants for baby is safety, which I totally get. But what we do is, what we provide is the ability to adapt and to integrate, you know, those experiences, right? Like, that's what the limitations are placed on babies with that pressure on the nervous system. So to really like be able to convey that to moms, and like to like, you can do the things that like are good for you and for baby, as obviously as long as baby's able to adapt. And like, when baby can adapt, it's not really going to be as fussy in public places or like doing things that aren't just like at home, right? So like, it just seems like a much healthier environment for baby and mom to just like grow, right? I think that's really cool.
Well, kind of like what you said, like, if a baby's fussing, usually it's because they can't, like, they're either overstimulated or understimulated or something like that. So if they're able to adapt to that scenario, it just is really cool to think about, like, oh, then they're made to adapt. They're made to be in different places, and then they're not going to be fussy, or they're not going to be uncomfortable, because, like you said, they're just soaking it in.
Yeah. It's
not like an uncomfortable situation, but we talk a lot about the stress on the nervous system, especially with birth being like the most traumatic. And in the talk that I usually do for our office, I discuss like, it's actually beneficial with Chantel being pregnant, because I always talk about how, like, we show different pictures of like a birthing process, and specifically like a C-section, like just baby getting like lifted up by its head, right, to get out of the C-section and whatnot. But or even like forceps or different things. And I talk about, well, let's say Chantel, like 2 months after her baby's born, she wants to go to the mall and get some new clothes. But instead of carrying like my baby like around in my arms, like, I carry him by the head, just like walking around like this. And I'm always like I would get the cops calling me so fast, right? Why? Because like the nervous system and the baby is so important to be taken care of, but we don't take care of it after that birthing process, you know, but it's huge trauma. So that type of knowledge is crucial. And like I said, like for me, I didn't go through school like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a peds doc, but the more and more I learn about pregnancy and the adaptations that we talk about, like, it's just astounding the fact that Nate can put a whole baby together. You ain't gotta think about it.
Literally. And you hear crazy stories. Like, there's this one story that always sticks in my mind. So my parents, they really like watching like what are they called? Like the Dateline stuff, like those like kind of like 20 for 20, like the documentary style, kind of like real world story stuff, obviously with a heavy peppering of journalism and media kind of embellishing, but that's besides.
Right.
One of the stories was, I think it was like so they got stuck in like it was like in Alaska, and they got in a car accident or like in a blizzard, and this mom and baby were like trapped in the car, and
Yeah.
it was for like days. They were just like, hopefully somebody's gonna come, and eventually mom was like, okay, well, I have to go try, because otherwise if we just sit here, we're just not gonna make it. So
Yeah.
I think what happened was she like, so obviously like it's Alaska blizzard, you can't really just take baby with you because like the
Mhm.
conditions are just so harsh outside the car. So I think she left baby in the car, and
Well,
it was like, I think it was like a week or something that like went by, and I don't remember if mom got to somebody for help or if mom didn't make it, but they eventually found the car with baby in it, and like baby went into like this hibernation state to where like they're like assuming a baby had to be dead from like the cold, all this stuff, and it went into this like hibernation state where like the innate intelligence of the baby knew to do this process where it could like self-preserve by it was wrapped really well to like maintain as much heat as possible,
yeah.
and like somehow like baby did this process where it was able to like regulate the heart rate and like metabolism to this point where it was like a hibernation state, and like the baby was like alive and well when like authorities showed up, when it should have
Well,
been dead long ago supposedly. So
that's wild.
yeah, like the ability to adapt, right? Like that baby had a really high adaptability, survival value.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, and like that's just, I don't have it offhand, but it was a story I definitely remember watching, and it always it's stuff like that that sticks with you, you know.
Yeah. Makes me think of like, it's that, like you mentioned, innate and stuff, and it obviously had been in the womb for 9 months, and like it kind of already knew how to do that in a sense. Like, yeah, mom's placenta and everything's feeding it and whatnot, but in that way, it's kind of similar.
Well, and like
That's
the
wild.
scores on baby, right? Like, depending on like the stage in life, but like, 'cause I don't remember, like, it was young enough to where it definitely could not walk, and it was still fairly newborn.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, super cool, like crazy. If anybody finds it, definitely drop it. I don't remember, but
Yeah. I think one of the coolest things that I love about adjusting kids now, because I hadn't really, again, dove really deep into it, is just the fact that like you adjust them and then they just like poop immediately afterwards. It's just like, it's so nasty, but at the same time, it's like, whoa, that's really freaking cool. Like they just like explode afterwards. Like, how'd you make my baby poop? It was like right then, you just release that innate,
totally.
Especially when like they've been on, like medicine for months.
Yeah.
Max to
To
like
try and regulate their,
That's wild.
But like one adjustment is like, oh wow.
well, it's just funny, like
Explosion after explosion.
yeah, I don't know, like the concept, right? Baby's not functioning properly, and to not find, like, obviously like Miralax isn't the end all solution, right? There's some sort of reason why baby isn't pooping, but it's obviously you want baby to poop, but until you find the actual reason why, like to just like give Miralax is like that's the solution, like that doesn't make sense to me. So super cool getting to work with kids. I haven't had a whole lot of experience with it, but as you were saying before, the lack of pediatrics presence in a community, that's huge. Like that's the future of your community, of like the world, right? And to and BJ's, I forget what it's called, but maybe it's as simple as that, or essentially just talking about how just one man, one little thing for that man is just so big for society at the end of the day. Or like the analogy, or like the story about a horse, like the loss of the need for a nail was the loss of the war, right? It eventually like leads up to the loss of like a shoe for the horse, the loss of a horse, a message isn't delivered, a battle's lost, the battle's lost, the war's lost, right? And like that's the power of working with peds, is you're able to like, I don't want to like get as much like on my pedestal saying you're saving the world or saving, whatever.
Get on that soapbox.
Well, you know, like it unlocks potential for people, right? And you can't put I'm not going to put a box on what a baby's potential is. That baby could be literally not to call it, the cure for cancer. That baby could, find the cure for cancer, or, all these different amazing things that are within the human potential. Like, you're releasing that and allowing that baby to reach its full potential, or like have the capacity to. So I just think it's super powerful. And like, if you're in school right now and that's something that like sounds interesting to you, definitely, follow that, because I'm sure with KTC, but we both have been in MLS seminars, and that's one of the beauties of it is those tools, they go hand in hand with working with kids. You're approaching them with like love and honor, and like it's just things that kids, like you said, they're sponges. They soak that stuff up.
They need it. Mm-hmm. They thrive on it.
Like, yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that's something that like just the more you learn about it, the more power that gets handed over to it too. And just like I think Leilani, you're set up for a really great even opportunity now, like establishing yourself, because you guys are in an area where there's a lot of campus kids, right?
What's that? You kind of broke up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. You guys are in an area where there's like a lot of campus kids, yeah?
Yeah. There's a lot of like students and whatnot.
Even if like some of the women that are there aren't pregnant yet, like they know you too for later on, if they stay in the area. Because it's only a matter of time, right?
What's really beneficial for us too is like the gym that we're located in has it's not, I don't think
it's a nursery.
It's a nursery. So it's not like when parents come to work out, they can, drop their kids off in there, and they actually, gym staffs people to, play with their kids and like watch them while parents are working out. And we actually have like the ability or the option to use that as well. So like if a parent were to come in and get
sweet,
and they like just needed like a little bit of like time for themselves or whatnot, they can drop their kid off at the nursery and they can like play. That place is lit.
Yeah.
Like they have like a rock wall in there.
Yeah, we need this gym at Grand Rapids, man. Like that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's insane.
Seriously jealous.
I was like, can we go in there? I
don't know. There's such like good proprioceptive feedback for like climbing and things like that. Like, just like what's the word? Motor development, right? Like crawling's huge.
Yeah.
And I feel like climbing is a extension of crawling in a way. I like for kids to learn that. Like we're like through our evolution, climbing is a huge imprint in our DNA that we're down the line. We were made to climb in a way. I don't know if you've ever seen what's the documentary called?
We come from like apes.
Right. What's the documentary? Free Solo, right? Have you seen that? Dude,
Free Solo,
watch it. It's a documentary about this dude. He's a professional climber, and in the climbing world, I think climbing's gonna be part of the Olympics next year, by the way.
That's what's up.
I mean, it's crazy. I think that's gonna be super cool. I definitely would watch it.
Have you seen videos of people just literally sprinting up the walls?
Bro, it's wild.
I used to, so back in the day when I was doing like training for baseball, the winter I would do rock climbing to strengthen up my forearms and stuff. So there'd be people there that were just like literal monkeys, just like flying up the wall, and it'd be like the most difficult thing.
They have
I think too, like
between like two people with like the same course, and literally they just like this is how fast
they fly.
Yes.
Yeah. It's literally like watching a sprint, but they're climbing. It really is amazing. But like you learn so much motor development, like you said, but then even like I think about, I can't remember if it was in active care, but we talked about the core bracing.
Yeah.
And you just naturally have to properly core brace when you're climbing and stuff like that. So I was telling Chantal, I was like, dude, if I could get my kids to climb, like it's a fun event too, like a family event just to go rock climbing and stuff.
Totally.
But you literally are teaching them how to properly move and read their environment.
Efficiency as movements too. And I was talking about when we were working out, because I mean, obviously as a male we're gonna have like a bigger predisposition to having like more muscle mass. Like that's just like in like
Yeah.
how hormones are set up and everything. But I was saying when I was growing up, I didn't do gymnastics or I didn't do any like.
Well, that's Lay's wheelhouse right there.
Exactly. And she was like saying, you need to like work on like bracing your, because we were doing this core exercise where she was like throwing my legs and like, she's saying you need to activate your core.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm trying. But I was saying, you had literally did this as a kid. And when you're a kid, you're so impressionable to like areas of emphasis of your body that you're going to like develop like your, kind of like your center of gravity and like your balance around. But like, I didn't have that in a gymnastics background to where balance is supreme. And as human beings, that should be like something that's highly idolized, especially as athletes.
I mean, I like always say that I have never been like awful at sports. Like my hand-eye coordination has always been pretty good. Like I've always been able to like adapt to whatever sport I'm playing, except soccer for some reason. I can't friggin' figure that out. But anyway, I've always like said that I've been able to adapt to those any type of sport because I was a gymnast for like 12 years. Because just it teaches you so much like balance, core stabilization. Like you literally have to engage your entire body. So it was like super easy for me to learn how to adjust because I was able to like watch someone, like watch their intricate details on how they were doing it and just copy it. Because in gymnastics, like you have to.
We got an art thief.
Yeah, literally.
We got an art thief.
In gymnastics, like you, like the routines you like have, you have to perform them like perfectly, and if you don't, like that's where your deductions come from. So you have to like basically mimic like what other what you're seeing. And
your mirror neurons are probably off the charts compared to other people.
Yeah, I don't know about it anymore, but definitely back when I was little, it definitely helped a lot. So I definitely agree. Like starting young and like developing those like motor patterns, key.
Especially around core. Like core is so fundamentally important. Like with our diaphragm, just like your core is your center, and anything that like emanates from that. If you have a strong foundation in your core and your center, then everything else will inherently be stronger or more balanced.
Yeah, like I feel like I really find myself sometimes, like right now, I'm doing it unknowingly. Like I'm stabilizing my core right now.
Really?
For no reason. I'm just.
That's a great natural ability because I've had to like retrain myself since I got my hernia, right? Like I had to retrain my entire core system. Like it's way stronger now, but like I wish that that's something that I would have learned and most athletes need, especially when you talk about like Nash football and stuff like that. Like we don't learn that. We just learn, see ball, catch ball, hit ball, or hit the person as hard as you can at any expense to your body, really. So
you're kind of putting the cart before the horse in a way. Like when you start, like I played football in like 5th grade, right? And like in a way, like you learn to like kind of use your body and like pick up on certain beneficial like ways to use your body. But I'd have been much better off learning gymnastics in a way as like an athlete.
So I feel like you would be able to, like if you think about it, if you're trying to make a cut and your core isn't stabilized, your whole body doesn't move with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like it would definitely be beneficial to engage or figure out how to engage your core prior to those things because you probably do learn, but it probably would take less time to learn those things if you were able to do that sooner.
When was your first adjustment, Leilani? Did you get adjusted too when you were in gymnastics or no?
Yeah, so I mean, I was lucky enough to start seeing a chiropractor when I was like 10, maybe.
Dang.
Because I mean,
lucky.
Yeah, for real, beast.
Just with gymnastics, like you fall a lot. There's a lot of trauma.
Being a kid, there's a lot of trauma. Like I was telling my brother, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, there's some definite huge benefits to just like messing yourself up as a kid, and just learning that like pain, it kind of comes with life, and it's not like pain's not like something to be scared of, right? Or I mean, you just like and with gymnastics, you learn to take falls and like you learn to get banged up, and like it's okay.
Right.
Probably, honestly, like one of the biggest things that we learned first was how to correctly fall. So,
Really?
yeah. So I mean, if you fall out of a skill or like off the bars or anything like that, like you are immediately taught never to like reach out in front of you. You're always taught
Wow.
to tuck and roll. I remember like specifically because people were like going crazy over this in high school when I ran hurdles and I ran the 400
Yeah.
hurdles. And so like I think I was coming around to the 200.
Did they have to decrease the height on those?
No, thank you very much. Anyway, I was coming around on the 200.
Sorry, guys.
I hit one of the hurdles, and I knew I was going down, but I literally instinctively like tucked and rolled, got back up and started running. People were like freaking out over it, and I was like, "Why is that such?"
Who is a superhero?
Did you win?
I don't remember. Probably not. It's freaking 400 hurdles.
The recovery was key,
I was
though.
dying always during that race, but
And you didn't even have to think about it, probably too, because you put in that training. Right?
Yeah, like I literally just instinctively tucked and rolled, and like it was kind of like a somersault, and I literally just got back up and started running, and people were like crazy. And I was like,
I probably think that would help in rugby too. Like you guys are falling all the time, getting hit, or you know, just having that instinctive reaction to be able to fall properly. Because how many people? I mean, we talk about food injury all the time, but like how many people injure their whatever because they don't know how to fall properly, right? That's
football,
crazy.
Our strength coach. So in the summertime, what we would do is after like our big like 2 hours in the weight room, we'd go outside and we'd do like conditioning. And part of like one of the conditioning things that we would do is we'd do like this circuit, this like 400-meter circuit, or you do like 3 or 4 rotations of it. But one of like be like different drills in different spots along that curve or along that rotation. And one of them is literally learning how to like properly, like if you're gonna fall backwards like a quarterback or something, you like hit backwards. How to not give yourself whiplash and how to like properly like dissipate your weight, so you like kind of like spread the ground reaction forces and like you can like properly fall down. Like that's pretty key. And
did you guys ever see those like dudes jumping off like 30 feet and they'll just like
parkour,
but they know how to roll and they know how to fall, so then that's wild.
It is. I was talking with my brother, and I think there was like, you know, kind of coming back around to like getting adjusted when you're young. I remember multiple, like there's like one real huge instance that I know I jacked up my collarbone, and I was like, man, I can only imagine like how many times like I would have just been way better off seeing a chiropractor and just like after falling on like the.
Is it the same side as your TOS?
Bike, huh?
Is that the same side as your TOS that usually happens?
No.
I think you're right.
But,
the other one.
So like if I were to do like power cleans and whatnot, I used to really think like just like the way that I caught it for years. I'm sure that had something to do with like just my motor patterns with had a back injury and like how I was catching it. That was some of it. But my left collarbone is like way more prominent than my right, and as far as I know,
mine is too. I always hit it right here.
Mine's
on
more
on the power cleans.
Yeah. But I think it comes back around to that. That was like one of the first times I really like, I was like running. I was like looking back, like playing tag, and I was like running down like this slope, and it was at this school, and there was a metal railing with like obviously like metal railing like supports. So I was like looking back, and I just like smoked myself against one of the railing bars. Like I was probably like 7 or 8. And I just remember like kind of seeing stars, and I was like, and like just like I don't know. I think I went
just
home
dead. Did you break it?
Oh yeah. Did I break it?
You did break it?
I don't think so. I don't remember. I definitely did not get like a sling or anything. I think I just like.
Oh man.
His mom.
I can only imagine.
His mom's a nurse. I can just even like see her just being like, "You're fine. Go away."
I mean, we grew up like kind of
broke. You fine.
Yeah, we kind of grew up like around a small community, small town. So I don't know. Like that's just kind of like part of growing up, right? Like you just
Right.
I remember like crashing my bike and like my knee was so swollen. Like I just remember like limping up. Like we had this big backyard, just like limping up the backyard, just like bring my bike back up and just like
Wow.
didn't really do. I just really don't think I really like rehabbed anything until like I got to like high school.
Right.
Besides,
As most of us have, how many sprained ankles have we had and not rehabbed or whatnot?
crazy.
Yeah. Lay was lucky. She got that care when she was 10. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Well,
I think about like
when you're
like
10 years old and having like sciatic radiation.
oh shoot, yeah, you kind of need that.
So I mean, it wasn't like just like, oh, I need to go in for like wellness care, which I mean would have obviously been beneficial because I probably wouldn't have had those symptoms had I have done that.
Yeah.
So I definitely went in because I was in pain, but definitely helped. I'm not gonna lie.
So what's kind of funny is, after I got done with my football career, I had this like year transition where I was doing an internship with an upper cervical doc, and from basically like sophomore year high school up until like that point, I had really, really bad seasonal allergies. Like I remember one of the first times I really had them like start up. It always happened in the spring, and it was during track season. And there was a morning where I woke up and I was like, I couldn't open my eyes because they were just so glued shut that like I was like, I think I have bilateral pink eye. And
Who's been farting on your pillow?
I guess. And I literally like
your brother
I could not open it. I literally had to like try to do this. And even as I was like peeling it, I could see like the strands, like they were very, very thick. It was gross.
Oh
and it's gonna get pretty gross. But like I was opening them, and like even to this point, they weren't like separating. So I had to like literally like go through with my finger and like break them. So I had really bad seasonal allergies.
That is the wackiest seasonal allergy story I've ever heard.
And it was like this every year. And sometimes it wasn't quite as bad, but like my eyes were the worst part. And anybody who's ever had itchy eyes with seasonal allergies, as soon as you touch them, it's like, like they're on fire, and you like it's so bad. Yeah. So I had to literally have to just like do these techniques to like try to like not itch my eyes, but like try to relieve the itch. But
blinking really hard.
Blinking really hard was one. I would what was this other thing I would do?
That made my eyes itchy when I blinked really hard.
The thing is, I do it sometimes in my sleep, and I'd just jack myself up, so it'd be really bad. Dang. But so I worked for this upper cervical doc, and like I knew some of like the chiropractic principles, and like the concepts made sense to me. So I was getting adjusted upper cervically for a good amount of time, and that year was the first time because I never really like I would take some allergy meds, but like they would help some, but they weren't really like all like they would kind of reduce
just
like,
diminish
intensity.
It.
Yeah, they would reduce intensity. Yeah. But when I started seeing him, I stopped like really taking most of those and anything in general, and that was and since then I've been getting care obviously pretty frequently. I don't really have that anymore, and I know that's part of like what they call the maturation process. You grow out of them, but in a way like your body adapts, right? So
it's the adaptation. You adapted quicker because of it either way.
Yeah, and that was one of the biggest initial benefits I got from chiropractic care was the reduction of my seasonal allergy symptoms, which were horrible for a long time. And most people wouldn't equate that to chiropractic, right? Most people just think it's neck pain, back pain. But for me right away, I got that initial introduction into the power of just like an upper cervical adjustment with my allergies, right? So that was like a really cool lesson for me right away.
That's pretty sick. One of the coolest allergy stories that I think I've ever heard was from Dr. Greg Abbott, and he was talking about how, and he grew up in Pittsburgh, so like close over there to the Appalachian Mountains and different things, and he grew up with really bad allergies until he saw a chiropractor, and the chiropractor actually like had him think about what it was like to have those allergies and then read for subluxation pattern within him and adjust it when he was in that mental state so that he could adapt to it. And he was talking about how like he did that until to the point where like he would try to think about it and like he wouldn't be he wouldn't have any subluxations anymore because of it or whatever. And then so he didn't have allergies ever since. Like ever since he's done that, he's never had allergies again.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like it's your brain, right? It's all
Right.
brain saying
That interaction with it.
Yeah, your brain's like, oh, this isn't good for your body, so I'm just gonna have this inflammatory reaction.
Yeah.
So I mean, retraining your brain, that's crazy. That's awesome.
One thing that so like I said, I grew up in a small town, and one thing that I always kind of equated it to was that, like, so I'm Filipino, and one of my other friends that was in my high school class, that was, I grew up with him, and one of my really good friends, he was also Filipino, and he also had the same allergies. So, like, one thing we always said, we're not from here. Like, we're just not used to this environment, right? So that's what I always think, right? And obviously that's changed now, but that in itself was always something that, like, I was just kind of like, oh, I just, like, chalked it up to that, right? So.
Right. Your genetics.
Genetics, yep. So,
genetics.
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy. I have a quick question for you, Dr. Lay. Do they talk about how long to breastfeed in ICPA stuff?
So, I mean, honestly, they say to breastfeed, like, as long as you can, really.
Yeah.
What's crazy is, like, the world, like, average, like, if you take account into, like, every single, like, country in the world, the average age that, like, babies breastfeed till is, like, 5 years old. So, like...
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, outside of the U.S., you mean?
Yeah, so, like, if you... This is
Dennis.
If you take into account every single, like, country, like, third world countries, whatever, like, they breastfeed until, like, past 5 years old, because that's the average.
Yeah. And nowadays, that's, like... I told Chantel she had to breastfeed for at least a year, and she about cried.
She can... I mean, you can pump. She can pump, and then, like...
You can pump. You can. But it's different because there's that connection. There's that connection that takes place, too, you know? Like... And I was talking to, there's a naturopath here in town, and she breastfed her kid for like 3.5 years, which is like mind blowing to think about within the U.S.
Right. It's
totally.
Just, like, not culturally, like, normal thing.
Culturally, it's not normal, but the benefits that you can get from it, I mean, the more you learn about it, but it's wild that you say that. Just like outside the U.S., it's averages 5 years. It's crazy. And think about. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that's insane, like 5 years.
Oh, yeah. And I was just going to say, and you think about, like, how many, like, pediatric issues we have nowadays. And even, too, like, there's a lot of people that give their kids, and I mean, like, granted, outside of the realm of, like, some women can't fully breastfeed or whatnot. Usually you can break that down to a hormonal issue, but all the information that just came out about the baby food having heavy metals, and then you talk about, like, all the I almost called it protein powder, but it's not. What is the fake? Yeah, like the Similac having like the lead and stuff in it. Yeah, it's whey protein powder for babies. But just like all those foods that have, so it's so many detrimental things within them. But we have the natural breast milk, and if we just did it for 5 years, think about where we'd be at. I don't know.
I will say, like, I mean, food is food for babies. I know there are so many complications with, like, breastfeeding that you have. I mean, I don't know, but, like, people have told me that it's very painful.
Right.
So.
Right. No, I couldn't imagine. I mean, I couldn't imagine having a baby latch on me for 5 years. Like, that would be hard for sure.
We're not here to
3 meals a day.
shame anybody if they.
Not here to shame anybody. Just trying to change the cultural norm. Education and cultural norm. Yeah. That's why you guys are powerful, because us men, we'd be lasting like a week and be like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. All right, I'm out.
Every day.
Huh?
I think I say that every day. I'm like, if you had to do it,
I 100% agree, man. My mental fortitude for stuff like that would be so not up to par.
We do not have that ingrained in us. The maternal instinct is far.
Yeah,
I'd rather rock climb for 5 years with my kid than do the breastfeeding.
Right.
Well, it's kind of cool. Like, so that Webster seminar that I took, it goes into like talking about how like women's bodies just like know what to do. You know what I mean? Just being, you know, pregnant and like just instinctively afterwards, like I know a lot of women, or not a lot, but some women say, you know, like they're worried because they don't know how to be a mom, but it's like literally just like ingrained into us on how to do it. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I think
so. It is crazy.
You know, funny that you say that. So one of the things that I've heard from, you know, friends or, you know, mentors talking about like helping their partner go through the birthing process is like, you know, obviously when you're in the delivery, one of the things that like really comes up is like this point where like they're like, I can't do this. And it's, you know, like telling them like you are doing this. Like it's literally like you're doing it now. And I think that kind of is like a message that can go be
empowerment
process, right? Like you're doing this, like even though you don't think you can be a mom, like you're doing it now. Like you're doing it.
You've done it for the past 9 months. You are capable, and that empowerment is huge because even like conversations with Chantel and I, just like her going through it and stuff, and just different things like that. I'm like, no, you were built for this. Like, you know what to do. You don't really have to worry about not knowing exactly what to do in whatever scenario, because like, I mean, it does really come down to innate. We've been doing it for like hundreds of thousands of years, right? Like, why there's no exception. There's a reason why we're still around, right? You know what to do instinctively.
I mean, your body just literally like builds this complex, you know, like being.
Microcosm.
By itself. It's crazy.
It's so wild. It's by itself. It doesn't need any help. I'm super excited. One of my like obviously being nervous, like right when we found out we were pregnant, and like, dang, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. But then now I'm just like, dude, I'm just so excited for the first time I get to adjust my baby boy. Just like that connection that takes place. We talk about connection, intention, and purpose. Like, as we get closer to the time period, I'm just giddy about it, you know, because like that type of connection, you can't beat it, you know?
Dude, yeah, you can't buy stuff like that, you know what I mean?
I'm so excited for you.
Same. You're gonna be you're gonna be such an awesome dad.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
From the start, I said that you guys need to.
Dude, Leilani was trying to get us to have a baby on like first try, man.
We wanted to buy like the baby like cute little clothes and like.
I know.
We needed to have.
I couldn't have imagined having a baby in school. Then so many people did, but I mean, I couldn't even imagine it. Yeah, you guys were trying to get all the clothes and stuff. We do have little Palmer socks.
Nuh-uh.
Somewhere around here. That's about it.
Cute.
And then my sister, so my sister actually, she didn't buy it originally for the baby. She bought like a baby onesie from Palmer. This was like before we knew we were pregnant. Oh, I think it was at graduation. And she put it on her cat though. But that's the only piece of other baby clothing that I've seen somebody buy from there.
Oh my gosh. So wait, when's her due date?
April 18th.
Ooh.
It's coming up.
Let's go.
So she just hit 31 weeks.
Yeah, you got about.
Holy crap. It's like in a month and a half.
Yeah.
2 months.
What sign is that? Is that Sagittarius or is that like a Virgo?
It is not Virgo.
Honestly, I have no idea.
I only know my own.
I don't even know my own because every time I look it up, January 20th is like right on the cusp of like 2. So
You're both.
I have no clue. I'm both. A mixture. I'll take it. But yeah, I don't know. We're still trying to figure that out. So, and shout out to Dr. Leilani for always giving me information on baby stuff and pregnancy stuff because, yeah, I know how to adjust, but that's about it.
I'm saying you should take that Webster course sometime. Whenever you.
No, I need to.
Obviously, you're very busy. But yeah.
I know. I need to though. It would be really key.
Something interesting that one of my friends who just had a baby. What does that mean?
He's going to the restroom.
Oh.
That's a signal.
I was like, okay.
We should have filled you in beforehand. Sorry.
I was trying to tell me my breast smelled or something, and I was like,
No.
what was I saying? Oh, one of my friends who
So
just
one of
had a baby, shared something that was pretty interesting to me the other day. It was like saying how like it kind of broke down like doctor's appointments for moms. And like how frequent they are at the beginning of like pregnancy. So I think it's like once. I'm not gonna pretend like I know, like just for checkups and whatnot.
yeah.
But it kind of like broke it down to like every other week, and then like right before you give birth, it's like every week you have an appointment, right, with the doctor. But then,
Yeah.
you know, after you give birth, you know, either through C-section or vaginally, like they're both traumatic, right?
Yeah.
That you don't have these like weekly appointments with your doctor anymore. Like after, you know, your body has just like gone through the process. And I thought that was insane. I was like, there's no doctor appointments
It's
afterwards.
wild.
Like they're just like left to the wolves. Like
Pretty much. I mean, they
yeah.
only do the checkups for like really to get your height, weight, and like vaccinations. Really, is all the pediatric appointment is.
Yeah.
Afterward.
That's all I was saying. I was like, dude, chiropractic care like post, you know, birth is literally so important. Just to
So
help
important.
mom. Like
Yeah.
many things are
I had a
changing
patient.
for her, like, you know, that she needs some type of care for herself.
She needed the care, and I think a lot of like one of my patients, she just needed that like coaching to be like, you can do it. Like you guys are doing okay. Like keep pushing forward because like you have this new baby and it's crying, or like it's not, you can't tell it what to do, right? Like, and you guys can't communicate necessarily. So I kind of like to think of like our appointments and like the adjustment as like that connection piece to like, okay, there's only, you know, a mom and a baby can't communicate like in the way like we are right now. But what I can do is to release any interference between their innate communication, right? And like having that as a potential is like, okay, you guys are doing okay. Just keep doing what you're doing. And then like you adjust them. And like you said, it's that self-care, it's that release of any inhibition so that they can make it through because they don't have like a doctor presence, I guess you could say, outside of that. Yeah.
They need it. They need
it. Boom. Well, anything else that we should know about kids, sports? I don't know. Drop some knowledge on us, Dr. Leilani. Anything you got?
Oh gosh. What did I have on my notes here? I think
Bring up the notes.
I flagged a couple things.
I've got some kind of more of like an intention thing. Like I was kind of.
Boom. I love it.
So I've been reading Dr. Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, which is he just does a really good job at like, you know, having all these, you know, like it really is 12 rules for life of things you can apply in so many different realms of what you have going on, no matter your background. And at chapter or rule 7 is do what's meaningful, not expedient. So it's really easy to take that at face value, especially when you think about doing what's expedient or not, you know, do what's meaningful, not what is expedient. And we live in a society and a lot of day-to-day habits and just lifestyles are developed around stuff that's expedient, right? But
yeah,
he goes on to define meaning and like do what's meaningful. So meaning is when everything there is comes together in an ecstatic dance of a single purpose, the glorification of a reality, so that no matter how good it has become, it can get better and better and better more and more deeply forever into the future. So, you know, with you becoming a dad, man, like that meaning for you, dude, that's a whole other gift in itself outside of baby. Like,
yeah,
that's the type of stuff that like it doesn't matter how much money we make or like, you know, what, you know, I mean, like it's very superficial, but like what sports teams are winning or even just like little petty things that are or petty things that are going on, like politic wise, like, dude, your meaning to whole is just so much greater than that, and in a way that's liberating to you, and like it really allows you to like do stuff with passion and with your practice, bro. Like that's just gonna really help you take things to a whole nother level too, in my opinion.
That's huge. Thank you, brother. I like that a lot.
Really good book, man. I really recommend it. I mean,
I know I need to. I just
really
followed him today on Instagram to see what stuff. I don't know why I wasn't following him before, but
there's stuff in here that I'm just like I mean, I'm 27. Like I'm gonna be a dad someday, and like just reading stuff in here, I'm just like, dang, like that's just like really good, solid advice for like a way to parent, or like just like not that like I need to follow it to a T, but just like to embody that type of knowledge to me is just like that's what it's about. Really letting it like express itself through you, like the principle, not the actual exact wording of like how to do it, but like just like that lesson right there. That's really good stuff. So I get a lot of good stuff from here from that aspect alone.
Right, that's huge. I think like you touched on like your impact earlier and stuff, and that's arguably one of like the biggest impacts you can ever make is passing down knowledge that we've learned. I think that's one of the things I'm most excited for is just like passing down the stuff that like we've all gone through hardships, and he's gonna have to go through some of the hardships on his own, but like just passing any type of
stuff that we've experienced for him, provide those shortcuts.
Yeah,
I went down that path.
Things I wish I would have known earlier, for sure.
Yeah. It's huge.
That's huge. Huge.
Did you find anything?
What you got, Lex?
Sorry, I was listening.
No, you're good. You're good. I also have, so he likes to provide not like a multiple levels of the same thing, but like different ways to interpret things. And another way he describes meaning is meaning is what manifests itself when the many levels of being, emphasis on being, when the many levels of being arrange themselves into a perfectly functioning harmony, from atomic microcosm to cell to organ to individual to society to nature to cosmos, so that action at each level beautifully and perfectly facilitates action at all.
Damn.
I mean,
love it.
Yeah, dude.
Freaking love it.
It's just really brain food. We used to do this section
that nourishment
for football. I'm really thankful for University of Northern Iowa. Shout out to the Panthers, go Cats. That during our strength and conditioning, we'd always do this period before we'd really get started that we called mind candy. So the mind candy was a way for, obviously we're building physical strength and physical fortitude and resistance and resiliency, but the mind candy was like the backbone for all that, to really, hammer home the foundation of a strong athlete and a strong individual is in the mind, not in the body. So, and when you have a team full of people who understand that concept, or a team full of people who have like the same why and principles based around fortitude and, mental toughness, that benefits not just, you in that moment and, that season, but you moving forward in general as a person and as a person in society. So, mind candy, dude. That's what I really liked about. One of my favorite things that I took away from my football career was that. So.
Well, you're saying like it's in the mind, not the body, but the body is literally the mind.
It is. So it's a representation of the mind, for sure.
I mean, yeah, you can make your body do things like plays and whatnot, but if your mind isn't in it, like, how is that going to be any type of connection with like other people?
Totally.
So.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. So.
Did you have anything like? Did you find something in your notes?
Yeah. So I mean, like the ICPA in general just kind of goes on, like their perspective is like a salutogenic perspective. I don't know if you guys.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And that really just kind of breaks down.
Well, why don't you describe that a little bit real quick?
Like okay. Let's see.
Unless you're about to. Sorry. Yeah, what like salutogenic means and that kind of stuff.
I don't want to botch it.
That's all right. I like what you were saying, Nash, about earlier too, the experience with our children and stuff like that is we do want to kind of keep them in a bubble, but like those experiences and that pain and the different things that we can help them to realize the world around them is what really is going to change their life, not keeping them in a bubble, keeping them safe at all times.
Pain's not something
but let it be right. And the quicker they learn that, then the better off they will be for down the line. That mind candy starts when they're young, not just the developmental ages, right?
Yep, totally, man. I mean, those are the most impactful periods or moments in your life that really set you on that path in a way. So
You train them up.
I really am fortunate with the people I had kind of lay my foundations, and it always comes from love, right? Or at least like when you're lucky. I was lucky enough to have people around me that really loved me and like wanted to help me grow. So go ahead though.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Interrupt your salutogenesis.
Salutogenesis.
So that word salutogenesis actually means like that which gives birth to health, where most of like the medical community is on a pathogenic model. So I mean, if you think about it, like why do most of society, like why do they go to the doctor?
They got something wrong.
They got something wrong. And so, I mean, if you really think about it, when someone asks you like, how healthy are you? They aren't really asking how healthy you are. They're asking you how sick you are.
Do you have anything wrong?
Yeah. They're asking you for like what, you know, if you've got any diseases, systemic illnesses, gone through any surgeries or whatnot. And so the whole ICPA is kind of just like trying to change, you know, the mindset towards healthcare, right? You want to be healthcare, not sick care.
Right.
Pathogenesis means like focuses on diseases and illnesses rather than, you know, the birth of health.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Doctor. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Dr. Nash and I were just talking about that the other day. Is that like
literally
people want a different form of healthcare as far as payment goes, but our whole healthcare paradigm is not even set up to take care of true health.
No.
Right.
And that's the thing,
that
like
salutogenic model.
People are looking to, or like the pathogenic model is like built around cutting out the darkness, right? Like you cut out darkness, it just is replaced with more darkness. Like there's no gratification in that, right? So that's where our healthcare, or like the way we really view health and healthcare is much different, where we really want to put emphasis on that light and not cursing the darkness, but praising the light and really letting your inner light shine to eliminate the darkness, right? So that's the difference in healthcare for us. And last night I was watching this movie, Judah and the Black Messiah, really good on HBO. If anybody has seen it, definitely let me know what your thoughts are on it. But
I'm gonna watch that. That sounds interesting. Judah and the Judah and the Black Messiah.
Yep. So it's a story. I don't know if you've heard of him. I mean, everybody should have heard of him by now. I've always heard of him, but I never knew his story to this extent. So it's about Fred Hampton in the 60s in the Black Panther Party. So one of the things around Fred Hampton was, and just, you know, revolutionary minds in general, is that they're dangerous to people who want the system to stay the way it is and that don't want to change. And what they were trying to provide in a way is, so for people in oppressed communities, you know, free, actual, true protection and free healthcare and free support, not charity, but like free, true, revolutionary support and healthcare. And in a way, what was come across in my mind from that movie was that they were literally trying to set up like free clinics and free hospitals for people to go to, and back then, like a lot of people of color and a lot of people who, not just color, literally people who were poor would go to like hospitals and whatnot and leave worse than when they showed up. And in a way, I'm like, man, like I just wish that like they could have had a chiropractor back then that would have like, because one of the biggest obstacles for their hospitals is like it's just so expensive to even like get that form of traditional medical care that like they just couldn't afford like the equipment or like the the know-how to like help people with certain things. But like if you have a
Right.
chiropractor, like you don't need anything, right? Like all we need is our hands and like our
Yeah.
intent. Like I'm just like, man, that would have been so powerful. Like so I'm not gonna spoil it, you know, you go and watch it, but that's just it was like man, it was just a powerful movie and a powerful message that you know, to be a revolutionary mind is dangerous.
Yeah.
But that's how you make change. So yeah, let me know what you think when you watch it, man.
Yeah, that sounds sick. Especially when you talk about those disparities and then how, I mean, you build that connection. Because, and to Lay's point too, just like building up the suit of armor, you're constantly building up their mind. You're constantly building up the self, not the disease that they might have or the pathology they have. You're building up the power within the light to be able to take out and cut it out on themselves. You know, I don't know, because I'm going through Becoming Supernatural by Dispenza, and he talks about he kind of talks about that concept too of like a light wave within them to transfer their diseases and different things like that. And while it's hard to think and comprehend it on a grand scheme model, but like in the end game, it's because we've been so ingrained to, you know, if something's wrong, take a medicine, or something's wrong, get a surgery, instead of, okay, well, let's just wait, you know.
And out,
let's
cut
just...
it out is their model, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's cool that the ICPA though is kind of like taking that salutogenic model and at the forefront, because then the more you can put that at the forefront, the more we're able to, you know, transform that mindset.
It's coming
Constantly.
You know? That's
coming.
That's one of the in my opinion, that's one of the nice things about, or like one of the actual benefits of having social media and technology nowadays, is that flip side of the coin, you know, a lot of people focus on like the negative aspects of it, and I definitely think there's plenty, but you also are open to seeing new things and like getting the word out about really beneficial things that you can add into your lifestyle, and having different models and different just being exposed to different content and experiences is huge. So with the salutogenic model, that's awesome. That's a really good tool for us to like expand that.
Yeah. And I remember when you guys put that up on your Instagram or something back, and I was like, wow, it's so cool to be able to just, I mean, you keep that as almost like a mission statement, right? In your care, you're not seeking to remove pathology, but strengthen the suit of armor within the person.
Yeah.
That's it. I love it.
Fire,
but
man.
I was, yeah. Fire.
What a Sunday.
On a Sunday, for on Spine's Day.
Who knew we were talking gospel on here today, man? Like it's
Dude, we're always talking gospel on
I know,
here,
I know. Day of rest, right? But
day of rest. That's true. Yeah.
You know,
take them to church.
It's more of a day of refreshment, right? Like this is refreshing to like it always is refreshing getting to speak my mind and, you know, kind of like create a nice mixture of like our own thoughts and put them into words on a space like this, dude. And having good guests like this, it makes it really fun.
Yeah. Helping us preach the truth. Breastfeed your kids for 5 years, y'all.
Longer than 5 years.
Get them into gymnastics.
That's the average, right? You can go up to 10.
That's average. That's crazy. I remember
average.
I remember she like asked.
Oh, so that means that people are above that, like 7 to
10.
7 years. Holy crap.
What do you guys think the average age people breastfeed in the world is? And I was like, 2? She's like, no.
See, I would have said like 6 months is
yeah.
Based on our current situation here in the U.S.
Yeah. I thought 2. I was like, that's like a pretty old age. Like in my head, that's why I said 2. It's 5. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Got to pack a school lunch today, you guys. What do you guys want to trade?
What? Oh, breast milk.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine?
Give me Reggie's milk. His mom's got the best milk.
Oh, Dude, that's disgusting.
Everybody wants Reggie's lunches, man.
Oh my gosh. I bet that kid's probably the healthiest kid out there, though, I bet.
You know what people are doing nowadays, bro? Not to like get completely off topic, and I know we're pretty much winding down here, but last little thing. So I like South Park, man. I think they write a lot of funny, good content. But hey, I know she does. But listen to this. So they did this episode called it was based around the spice melange is what they called it. And in the episode, I'd never heard it before this episode, but people are like, so it's focused around Tom Brady, of course. They always like to focus on Tom Brady. But in the episode, they literally are trying to get his poop because it makes them healthier. And people are doing that now. People are buying healthy people's poop to like have it implanted into their stomach for their gut microbiome.
Dude.
I thought it was in their rectum.
Wait, from Brady's poop?
I don't think it's from Brady. I think they use him as like a talking point, which they do, but like that is a real thing. That's
a real thing. And a lot of people probably could benefit.
And yeah.
Wow.
So
that gut health, so crucial. Poop implantation.
Gates, I know you know plenty of juicy content for the gut health, the gut microbiome.
Oh shoot. About to put the gut on blast. That's good, yeah. We can talk about that gut. Man, yeah. There's all kinds of stuff that come into play within the body, man. That Swiss watch, dude, I freaking love it.
Hell yeah. But
never forget the master powerhouse, something that can't be replaced. That nervous system.
You know where that power comes from. Above, down, inside out.
ADRO.
Yep.
Oh. Any closing thoughts, Dr. Lay?
Go out there and live that salutogenic life.
Boom. Oh, that's fire. That's going to be the title.
Yep.
That's it right there.
Tagline right there. Put it on a t-shirt.
Yep. Good Fires t-shirt.
We're coming. Merch is coming.
They're coming. Yep.
Cool.
Any closing thoughts, Dr. Nash?
Do what is meaningful, not expedient. That's my final thought.
I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not even going to follow that up. Live life salutogenically?
There you go.
Salutogenically?
Salutogenically.
Do what is meaningful, not expedient? Is that what you said?
Sir.
Boom. Love it. Fire.
6.
Fire on a Sunday for Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Hell yeah.
From the dynamic Chiro duo of Ames, Iowa, y'all.
Fully connection.
And intention. And a whole lot of purpose, baby.
Whole lot. Extra dosage of purpose.
Extra dosage. Yeah, we got triple dose today.
All right. Episode 6.
Choose your destiny. Raiden wins. Flawless victory.